Hey guys, I'm back. Thanksgiving special vlog. Happy Thanksgiving to all of those who celebrate, and I hope everyone enjoys their break and I'm looking forward to it. So today, like everyone else, I'm going to be talking about the experience we had in the library on Monday. So it actually was my first time in the library outside of AOP and like a tour. I usually just study in my hall or in the Brody complex. It's This is kind of overwhelming, like the first time being there, because it's like repetitive look to it style, I guess. It's very big. I like the room that we were in though because everyone got their own kind of like space to work. So even though the librarian was there to guide us, it felt very independent. I liked how we have our own site through the library's website as a class. I felt like it made it really easy to find the resources. Like all of like the links for the ways we could research are there, like we all know, and like I already bookmarked this so I wouldn't lose the link. Um, I kind of came into the library on Monday not really knowing the direction I wanted to take my project in to focus it on. I knew for sure, and I still know, that I'm doing it on the bluest eye, Toni Morrison, and how and why she and this novel should be taught in high school. I did also feel like my vlog last week helped me to understand the project more, but I was still struggling with where I wanted to what direction I wanted to push my research into. So when we started researching, I started just by searching Toni Morrison in the library database, and this gave me like 3,000 hits, which was obviously a lot to look through and obviously not all relevant to my project. So I tried to just like skim and see which ones were helpful, which ones wouldn't be. And I did find some interesting articles this way. Side note here, I found that the worksheet the librarian gave us was helpful, pretty useful, because it was a guiding point of like what I should be looking for, like the parts of the links I should be looking for. But I ended up just kind of making a list on the back of my worksheet of articles I want to go back to and look at later, because like these are things I could just look up through the library database because they're mostly online resources. Also, another kind of critique I have, the only one really, is that it would have been helpful if the librarian had like pre-picked out a topic for an example to show the class rather than asking for the class. Like this would have been helpful like for some students who needed like more help, but I feel like that could have been independent and was kind of awkward when he was like asking and really no one had much to say to him about that. So like I said before, most of the resources I did decide to pull were solely online due to convenience, but also the fact that most of them did have valid information for me to apply to my final project. So as I went on, I started to search more like specifically for my project because I realized that like just searching Toni Morrison on every website like was gonna get me kind of like similar things over and over again, and it would be like harder to apply this one to my project. And I did find like I felt like I found like the majority of the best of my resources on JSTOR. I thought this was like a really helpful website, especially because you could just click and you be at the article. So I started, some keywords I chose were teaching Morrison, teaching the bluest eye, secondary English education, and the American education system. It got like broader and narrower at the same time. Some of the articles, these were all like very interesting searches, and kind of like I had a lot of like epiphanies throughout this. Some of the results I got were envisioning the critical classroom, critical pedagogy, and secondary English education. Morrison on Morrison, using interviews to teach Morrison. I thought that was really interesting to me. Not So Fast, Dick and Jane, reimagining childhood in the nation, and the bluest eye. I do feel like I'll be able to implement the majority of the articles that I found in various parts of my project. I feel like I want to like kind of like, because like part of my project is like lesson plans, and I kind of even like want to go over some of these in my classroom with my students. I really feel like what will help me the most though is writing the teaching philosophy portion of the project, because I feel like that's where I have ideas for a lot of it, but I've never written a teaching philosophy before, and like this kind of helped me like think like this is why we should teach this, and like this is like kind of like flaws in the American education system. And this did the searches also led me to start thinking about banned books and why banned books should be taught in schools, and why it is wrong to censor pieces of work and novels. I do want to incorporate this in my project somehow. And overall, I thought the time in the library was really helpful, and the research we did there helped me shape the direction I want my project to go in.